It's Tuesday here, the live version of this. So why don't you tell me what's been the highlight of your Tuesday? And I'm a little late today. The power's been out at my office all day, so I'm just now getting online, which means it's going to be a little bit later night tonight because I have a few things I need to get done on the computer. But it's been a good day nonetheless. It's been a day of improvisation. Sometimes you just got to roll with things and see how they go. Also, when I'm finished with this, Facebook put a little blue thing up there saying that there's a way I could put a poll. So I'm going to attempt to publish a poll at the end of this. And if you can all just respond to the poll, it's a really simple yes, no. I would like to see if that has some value to it, to utilizing that technology. And then that'll be that. So anyways, let's see who's on here. Linda, Courtney, great to see you on here. Carlos, Jennifer, Deborah, hello in Maine. Violet, Jamie, Richie, Chelsea, Lisa, Lala. I hope it's not frozen again. Yeah, you and me both. Jamie, hey Jamie, how are you? Speaking of frozen, 40 centimeters of snow in parts of Calgary. How is it snowing already in Calgary? That's just insane. It's been like 80 degrees here. Hello, Lala from Indonesia. Oh, my, Ashley, Ellie, Amy, Deborah. Great to see so many of you logging in. In Laredo, Texas. Enjoy, Linda. Have fun with that. Courtney, good to see you on here. Okay, quick message today. I know I'm already late, so you all are joining me a little bit later in the day than planned, but I want to chat with you today about how do you know when it's time to give up? I would say without fail, I get this question probably at least once a week, if not a couple times from people. And these will be people asking the question in context of their relationships, in context of their businesses, their careers, and entrepreneurial endeavor they're trying to start, in context of their health, in context of, a new hobby they're trying to embark on, becoming a better speaker, learning a new language, whatever the case may be. And the question inevitably comes, because what happens when we start off in something that we've never done before, or it may even be something we've been in for a long time, a career, a relationship. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that are going to be really freaking hard and really fucking suck. And that's definitely not lost on me. I don't want to sit here and pretend like everything's all sunshine and rainbows. I'll be the first to say that's not the case. And those of you who have followed along for a while know that I will definitely be the first one to say that. And so the question becomes, where's the fine line between, keep going forward, pushing through the pain, pushing through the barriers, working through stuff, persevering. We see all the logos all the time. Never give up, keep going. It's worth it. Overcome it. I've shared with you all probably several times the image of the two guys who are mining through the dirt, and there's all the diamonds on the other side of it, on the right hand side, and you have the one miner who's working away at the pickaxe, and he gets this close to where the jewels are, the treasure is, and he turns around and goes back, and beneath him there's the other miner who's attacking that same space, and he's got this evident passion on his face, and you can tell he's going to get to where the other one never did. And the moral is obviously that most people give up when they're this close to their goal, which we'd all love to believe that, but unfortunately most of our goals this span of time might be months, it might be years, hell, it could be even a decade or more away. And in a digital world where we all get exposed to everyone's successes in a much broader scale. We all get to see people who are living the lifestyle we want to live, have the relationship we want to have, and so on and so forth. And it seems like it's just perfect and peachy and wonderful all the time, and everything's easy for them. It's really easy that when our life isn't going the way it wants, or our career or whatever it is isn't working out quite as we want it to be, to say, my head is really tired from banging against this wall. When is the right time to give up? And until today, I don't think I really ever answered this question to my fullest capability and potential, because honestly, I didn't really have the best answer. I would tell people all the time, if you're passionate about something, if your heart's in it, keep going, it's worth it. If what you're pursuing is the thing that you would rather do each and every day, then keep going, it's worth it. If there's still love in it for whatever it is, you're worth it. If you still have this desire to achieve whatever it is on the other side of it, then keep going, it's worth it. Even if at the end of the day there's hard, it's frustrating, you didn't get to where you wanted to be, but you still have it in your belief system that you're on the path you're meant to be on, keep going forward. And those are great. And I think emotionally, it might be good for rah-rah, but it might not be the thing that's really going to help set context, because if somebody's been up against the wall for a long time and they've been pushing, how are they supposed to know when it is time to quit and when it is time to give up? And are there endeavors out there that may not be the best uses of our time? Absolutely. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say there have been different things I've tried or attempted over the years that I gave up on or I quit on because it was just the effort going in wasn't producing the reward I wanted. And it was also taking away from things that were really meaningful and much more purposeful with me. Which leads me to today. And I think I finally have a good set of guidelines for those of you who have always wanted to answer this question. Now, before I get to the guidelines, I have to preface this by saying this answer is not mine. I'm totally regurgitating it. I'm totally borrowing it, I like to say, from someone. And I was hearing an interview today with a lady who was a former Olympic gold medalist. She won the all-around gold for the USA in the 2008 Beijing Games. And I believe her name is Natalia, and I'm going to butcher her last name, Natalia Luskin. But the abbreviated story of Natalia, she is, and it might even be Natalia. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing her name. But the short story with her is, as I recall, is she is the daughter of two Soviet immigrants who immigrated to the USA with virtually a couple bags to their name, no money or anything like that. And they just had a goal of opening up their own gymnastics school and training champions. I believe the dad was I think both parents were Olympic gymnasts. And I think the dad actually won several medals for the Soviet team back in maybe the 80s or the 90s. And it turned out that their daughter had a penchant for Olympics and a penchant for gymnastics. Now, according to her, they never pressured her, they never pushed her to do it, but gymnastics was her whole life. She wanted to do it. She wanted to get involved in the sport, and she wanted to compete at the highest level. Her dad, being a former Olympic champion, was her coach, and the mom, as she said, was kind of the proverbial glue that held everything together. So her and her dad had these bars of perfection that they set for themselves, and the mom was kind of this overarching voice of reason. So when the perfectionist would butt heads or be frustrated, the mom would be there to provide sage-like wisdom and counsel that would help keep those two pushing forward towards the goal they're after. In this interview, Natalia, and I really should have had her name, I'm pretty sure it's Natalia, is asked about giving up and pushing forward. And she said that her mom gave her a guideline. And when I heard her say this guideline, I got goosebumps. And I was like, my God, that is it. That is the best piece of advice, best piece of guidance I've ever heard anyone be given around the area and the answer to the question of when I should give up. Oftentimes after a very hard practice and a very frustrating day, and keep in mind, at that level, she's a young woman that's going to school, having to be educated, going through formal education, but then she's training upwards of 7 hours a day, conditioning, running, all those things, plus then doing her events, doing her routines. So like 7 hours a day of exercising. It's unbelievable to imagine. And she would have frustrating days. You know, she would have long days. She'd have days where she was too tired, didn't sleep enough, where the mechanics just weren't working, where things weren't hitting. And especially at that elite level, right? You think about how our frustrations are when we're trying to build through initial barriers, or we're trying to work through, we're trying to build some momentum. And then if you get a higher level, those of you who have been to higher levels, whether you're in business, your health, your relationships, all those types of things, you know that at that level, you're not necessarily making these massive jumps. Like when you first start off, you might start off at a 0, and it's really easy to get to a 10 or a 15 very quickly because the learning curve isn't as steep. But when you get up to like a 75 and 85, it's much harder to get from 85 to 87, 87 to 89, because you're working on really refined things right now. And here she is at the highest of levels, and she'd come back and she'd be so frustrated that she'd tell her mom, it's just not worth it anymore. I'm tired of it. I want to quit. I want to give up. And her mom would look at her and say, and keep in mind, her parents never pushed her. They never forced any of this on her. And her mom would look at her and say, okay, that's fine. If you want to give up, you want to quit, you're totally allowed to do that. But she said, here's the deal. She said, wait until you have another good practice. Wait until you have another good day. And then after you have that good practice, if after you've had that good day, you still want to quit, you still want to give up, you can. Walk away, no problem. Your dad and I are going to fully support you and still love you. Now, it might take a day, it might take a few days, it might take even a week or two for her to have another good day or good practice. But she said that when she would walk home or she'd get home after that, she'd walk through the door and it was evident, right? It's evident on all of our faces when we have great days, right? You all have been there before. When you have a really good day, you can't wipe the smile off your face. You're kind of buzzing, your step's a little lighter, and you just feel like, wow, you're on top of the world. You finally got this. You're making some progress. You're going to where you want to go, wherever that is. And it's emanating from you that you've had this great day. And when the mom would encounter her on these days, she would say, okay, well, now you had a good day. Do you still want to quit? Do you still want to give up? Do you still want to walk away from this? And she would kind of sheepishly say, well, no, of course not. This is what I really want to do. This is what I'm after. This is my passion. And then her mom would say, okay, let's keep going. Practice is tomorrow. I think that is the best guideline I've ever heard to answer the question about how do you know when it's time to give up? See, most of us want to quit. Most of us want to give up when it's really hard. And when we're dealing with the dirty stuff, when we're pushing through the muck and the mud, when we're trying to grind it out, when we're fighting, scratching and clawing, trying to get just a little bit more progress, and it's not seeming to get there, it can begin to seem overwhelming and consuming, and we get so frustrated and angry and pissed off, and all those emotions start to swirl up, and it's really easy in those moments to get so caught up in those emotions that we forget why we began on the journey in the first place. And then what we do is, from a place of anger, a place of frustration, we make these life-altering decisions to quit and give up on something that we set out to pursue. That's the worst time to give up. That's the worst time to quit. Yet that's the time when most of us do, because the feelings can be so overwhelming. We're so far removed from the pleasure and the passion and the purpose that we started something that we forget why we even began. And if you're going to make a decision that's going to be life-altering, if you're going to make a decision that is going to completely redefine the course of your life, whether it's giving up and quitting on a relationship, whether it's quitting on a career, whether it's quitting on pursuing an entrepreneurial endeavor, whether it's quitting on pursuing something that is meaningful, and the reason you started it was because there was love and passion burning in your heart for this thing, wait until you have a good day. Wait until you have some good moments, and then decide if you want to quit. Those good days and those good moments will find you, but they will never find you if you give up in the bad ones. They will never find you if you quit when it's hard. And it's in those times that you will often reconnect with what is most important to you and why you started on this journey to begin with. And when you get to have those good days, those good moments, and then you get to have the buzz of that, and you still want to walk away, you still want to give up, you still want to quit, awesome. Walk away with your head held high and love and confidence in your heart that you gave it your all, and it's just not what you really want right now. But do not rob yourself of that decision when things are going rough or things are down. This might be the greatest gift you could ever give to yourself. So for those of you out there who are wondering, is it time to give up? Is it time to quit? Wait until you have a good day and then decide if it's time to walk away. Sage like a wisdom from an Olympic champion. How cool is that, right? So I'm going to publish this poll really quick on Facebook. I'm going to see if this works. So we'll cross our fingers it doesn't make this. And you can just put your answers in, yes, no, on there. If you're watching the replay, I don't know if the poll pops up, but if you click on it, that'd be fantastic. That's what I have for you all today. I hope this has been helpful. I appreciate you all being here a little bit later. I will be back on, I think, more around the 4 o'clock Pacific time hour tomorrow. Oh, cool. I see the poll working. That's awesome. Let me just read through the comments really fast. Love it. So true. Is this the same thing as always remembering or going back to your why? It is, Violet. So that's a great question. Violet asks, is this the same thing as always remembering go back to your why? And then Deborah, I'll get to your question, then we'll wrap up. Our why is going to be purpose, mission driven, right? And if those of you who haven't listened to one of the trainings about the why, I have a bunch of them out there. We go into it in more depth in Life Toolbox. And you can message me if you want a little bit more information on that. We go through this with coaching in really big depth. This isn't, it isn't. Our why is usually why we started. And what happens is our why is this, it's this concept, it's our North Star, basically, that the reason why we did this, the reason why I'm sitting here in front of you all right now, the reason why I do what I do is because I want to positively impact the lives of billions of people around the world. And I think of those people, I think of all of you when I'm making the decision of, gosh, I'm a little tired of all those types of things. And my why always helps direct me to this. What I'm speaking to specifically with this, Violet, is when we're up against obstacles and we keep getting results that are not necessarily in alignment with the outcomes or the results we'd like to get. Now, our why can definitely help bring us back to it. But what I'm saying in this video is give yourself a physical, experiential win. And you may not, with our whys, we may not have experiential. Our why is it can be experiential, but more than anything, it's the North Star. And there will be experiences on the way to our why. But our why I would suggest is not necessarily a destination, but it's really the journey. And it's a path that we're going to walk on. And on that journey, we want to have wins along the way that are going to decide. And then, so what this is if our why is way over here and we're trying to get there, and that may be something we never actually touch because this is our North Star of our life. Along the way, as we move down this path, we're going to have goals, we're going to have outcomes we're after, we're going to have things we want to accomplish. Again, whether it's in business, relationship, health, wealth, any of those types of areas. And we might run into a hell of a lot of walls along the way. Let's say we're trying to start up a new business, or we're trying to take our business to the next level. And it can be frustrating as all hell to be told no, no, no. I'll give you all a personal example. I've shared with you all that I'm doing my first TEDx talk this year, actually at the end of this month. And this has been a goal of mine for probably 2, maybe 3 years, if not longer. And it has been extremely challenging to try to get a talk, not knowing what to do, not knowing the process, the amount of time I spent applying, all those types of things. And there was many times along the path where I thought, I should give up. This is ridiculous. Like, who's going to want to listen to this message? This is stupid. Why am I even trying to get to that level? Blah, 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 blah. Those voices that we have chirping in our head. And if I was to put myself, as I was applying this on the position, let's say I'm facing a moment where I've had like 5 or 10 rejections. I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm frustrated as all hell. And I say, I want to give up on this TEDx thing. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. Why am I even doing this? That would be the wrong time to give up. And what I'm saying here is what I'd want to do is I'd wait till I have a win. So maybe I give a really good talk, or I give a good keynote, or I have a good presentation. It's a good Facebook Live, and a lot of people send me messages saying how helpful that was. I run a great workshop, and people there who are really stoked on it and want to sign up for more trainings or something like that. And then I could step back away from that win because that win has me elevated. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling blissful. I'm on purpose. Oh, this is wonderful. And then I could say from that and say, do I really want to give up on TEDx? Do I really want to walk away from that? And in that state and in that place of being in the winner's circle, so to speak, the answer would never be no, because I believe that TEDx is going to be a vehicle to help me serve and help more people on the scope that I want to. I think that the message I have to share is really powerful, and it could really make a profound difference in the lives of hundreds, thousands, millions, whomever is open enough to receiving it. So does that better answer your question, Violet? Look at them as 2 separate entities that can be one and the same. But I would look at the why more as your North Star. That's always your guiding light. And then there's one other question on here real quick, then we'll wrap it up. David, I need this today. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome, David. I'm glad it was helpful. Lori, thanks, Lori, for sharing. I appreciate that. One quick question from Deborah, and we'll wrap it up. What about when you argue with a neighbor day in and day out? What I would suggest with that is find a space not. I would rewatch our training from the other day about finding a place to send love to them. The one I think it was actually yesterday's. And if you find a space where you can feel and send love to them, and you can find a space where you can see them from a place of love, I'm willing to bet that you'll find that you won't have arguments that day. Arguments usually happen because we're seeing them through our own veiled perception of what they've done to wrong us, what's made them wrong, what's made us right, how they were a jerk at this one time, all those things. So it's colored, right? If we can remove that color and just see them from a place of love and compassion, and that place is that this is a human being that's gone through challenges, struggles, obstacles in their life. This is a human being that in the moment is doing the best they can with what they have. This is a human being that at their absolute foundational core is after the same thing as I am, where they want to avoid pain, they want to gain pleasure, they want to feel like they're enough, they want to feel like they're loved, they want to feel like they matter, that they're trying to meet their basic needs just like I am, and that the way they're doing that, just like the way I am, may conflict. But if I want to take full responsibility on myself to reshape the relationship, I can step out of who I am in the moment and look at it from a different perspective and say, let me get to the absolute core of who this human is, so I can find a place to relate to them. And then from there, when I can get to their humanity and I can find that connection place, that's where I can redefine the relationship. And if you give yourself that gift, Deborah, and anybody else who is having conflict, whether it's with your neighbor, whether it's in your romantic relationship, whether it's in your professional relationship, and allow yourself the grace to see those people from that perspective and experience them from that perspective, and then make the decision if you want to quit or give up. It'll be transformational for you. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching live. Thank you for your questions, for your comments. Those of you who shared this, huge thanks to you. I really, really appreciate it. Remember, the more that this is shared, the more that this is passed around, the more it just helps me help more people. Be sure to fill out the poll. I think it's just an easy click. Those of you who did the poll, was that a simple process? I've never done that before. So that would be fantastic if you get feedback on it. If you have a friend or family member who should watch this, be sure to tag them in the feed. Be sure to subscribe to the Facebook Lives to get notifications about whenever I go back live. I will be on here again tomorrow. Thank you for being patient through the technical difficulties we had earlier. And that is what I have for you today. I know I ran a little bit long. Your patience is always appreciated. Each and every one of you are here are awesome. I'm sending lots of love to you wherever you are, morning, noon, or night. Remember to make the most of this moment. Carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment, and make it extraordinary so the next one can just keep that momentum rolling. We'll see everybody. Bye-bye.